Hello and welcome back, guys. The last Q&A we did was at the 100k sub mark, and we recently passed 140k subs, which is amazing and awesome. And for the record, no, I didn't think that we'd ever get to 100k subs, but here we are. And I want to give a big shout out to everyone on Patreon. Thank you guys so much. You motivate me like every day with your comments, your messages, the funny things that you post in the community section. I love it. I spend way too much time just like scrolling through all of that stuff. And even if sometimes I'm feeling a bit busy or overworked or just like not social, I still really appreciate everything that you guys are sending me on there. So thank you so much. It literally helps me take more time off to devote to the channel. All right, so let's get started. Actually, before we get started, I should probably let you guys know that, as I always do, if I've answered the question before, if I remember that I've answered it before, I skip it. So I'm sorry, I did read all of your questions, and I would love to answer all of them and talk about all of the interesting things that you guys submitted, but it would just be like hours long, and I don't want to like rehash the same stuff that I've talked about. So let's get started. Shira says, or Shara, I'm sorry, I don't know. As I recall, you had a surgery last year. Was it successful? Are you okay? Thank you for all these audios. Thanks. Yeah, the surgery was successful. It wasn't actually that big of a deal. I think like if I told you guys what it was, and I'm not going to tell you what it was because it's kind of embarrassing. Some people would consider it maybe like cosmetic, I don't know. But I had to get it because I'm stupid and I'm a little too rough with myself. And anyways, the surgery turned out well. I think I actually came out better, and I'm happy with the result and everything, so it's all good. Bevan and Pregya ask, have you ever thought of someone while recording? And Bevan asks, did you ever cringe when recording in audio? I don't always think about people when I record. And I can honestly say that I've never cringed while recording. I think it takes a lot to make me feel awkward, and I genuinely enjoy making them and talking about the things that we talk about on the channel. So I've definitely never cringed. In terms of like focusing on someone when I'm making the audio, I have done it before, but you know, it's not like a normal thing. Maybe my future waifu, I don't know. Kelly asks, how does it feel to know that you're making every girl and boy feel loved and secure? I think that's way too much credit. You're giving me way too much credit there, but thank you. Funny enough, the male viewer count for the channel has increased like 300% over the past year. So we're almost at 4% dudes listening, which is really cool, actually. Dazai asks, how is English taught in Canada? Well, Canada has 2 languages, but officially, but outside of Quebec, everyone speaks English. So I guess we just kind of learn it at home, like anyone's mother tongue. Yeah, osmosis or whatever. Dana asks, or Dana, I never know if you're supposed to pronounce it like a short A or a long A. Dana asks, have you considered doing a werewolf, alpha male, or alpha mate type audio? Yes, actually I wrote one and I spent a lot of time on it and I was super excited about it. I recorded it and then I listened to it and I wasn't happy with it. So I subsequently deleted it, and I don't know if it was the right decision, but it's not the first time that has happened, and it won't be the last time. There have been quite a few audios where I was just like not happy with the result, so I trashed it. I will give it another shot sometime soon because I like the idea. Poof Poofy asks, when you mess up, do you improvise or do you just restart? I don't know. I guess it depends what we're talking about. Like if I'm doing a presentation or something, or are you talking about for recording? Like if I'm doing a presentation or something and I mess up, I just try and laugh it off and continue. If it's an audio, then I'll just improvise. If I mess up in a game, I'll like probably rage and start over. Joy asks, what theme of audio would you never make? I think it goes without saying, anything made with the purpose of making someone feel bad about themselves. I wouldn't want to make that. Within the ASMR role-playing realm, I think that I would do most things. There are a few things that I wouldn't do that are not allowed on YouTube. Like that's kind of a conversation that we could have on Patreon. But most things I'm totally comfortable with. Angel asks, would you ever remake your Discord, and do you have a type? I don't think I'll remake the Discord. It took a lot of time and a lot of effort. It's funny you should ask about type, because I'm starting to come to terms with the fact that I'm more into cute, nerdy, sweet type girls than like quote unquote hot girls. But I mean, these are all labels. Like everyone is a mix of everything to varying degrees. And that makes it really difficult to say that you have a type. Like, I don't know. I've known lots of people who dated one type for a long time and then ended up settling down and marrying someone completely different. So who knows? I always seem to attract like the stereotypical quote unquote hot girl. I know I hate using that label. But I've definitely got more of a thing for like sweet, cute, wholesomeness. Also, I've realized that basically everyone is like a cute nerd when you dig deep enough. So it's not a big deal. I try not to get too caught up on types. Angel also asks, when did you find out this channel and content would be your thing? I guess when more people started listening to it. Like when I saw my first video had 1,000 views, I still remember being like, whoa, cool. This is really, really cool. But at the same time, I know that everything on the internet is pretty short-lived. So I wouldn't say that it's my thing per se. But it's something that I really enjoy. Kelly asks, I seriously need relationship advice. I like this guy, but he's giving me mixed signals. On text, he likes to know about my life, while he doesn't like to talk about himself. But in person, he's shy and doesn't talk much. Does that mean anything? Are there some signs that he likes you? My knee-jerk reaction is to ask, how old is he? How old are you guys? And I mean that in a nice way, I don't mean to come off as like condescending at all. Just his behavior sounds like a lot of guys when they're inexperienced and they freeze up. If I had to put money on it, I'd say he's definitely into you, and he's probably having trouble making a move. He may be too anxious, or maybe he's just in his head way too much. In that case, I think you have 3 options. You should take the lead, be patient and wait for him, or move on. Personally, I think you should jump him in the good way. Coco asks, do you plan on getting married and starting a family? I think that would be awesome. But in reality, I'm probably going to end up a bachelor with a dog and too many, hopefully, cool hobbies. I think like a lot of people these days, I didn't have parents. So when you don't have parents, I think marriage is one of those things that's not really front and center in your life. It's just kind of a nice thing to think about. But I'm definitely not opposed to the idea. Jessica asks, do you prefer busy cities or calm countryside? Love your content. I hope you're well. Thanks, Jessica. That's a good question. I like living in the city, but I'm spending more and more time just like riding my motorbike in the countryside. I love ripping down open roads on a sunny day. It just feels like freedom. You know, you could just like yell into the wind, and it's the most amazing feeling you've ever had. It's so exhilarating. It's great. I think like in the future, I would like to live in the countryside. Beatson asks, are you currently seeing someone? You don't have to answer if you're uncomfy. Thanks, Beatson. Beatson also asks, do you have a Spotify playlist and how was your holiday? I was dating someone recently, but we had very different feelings about life and values and what's important. Just, you know, like those really deep things, like things that we're not going to talk about here, like religion and all that. So we just like we didn't match on that level. So no, I'm back to being single. I don't have a Spotify playlist. I use YouTube Premium. I think that's what it's called. Lately, I've been listening to a lot of Savage Gasp, Harper, Chase Atlantic, obviously, and a little bit of a throwback, the Linkin Park Jay-Z album, which is really nostalgic and really good. Like it really held up over time. Super badass. Shara asks, if a friend asks me if I have a boyfriend, can I tell them it's you? Yes, you can. Horizon Audios, hi Horizon, asks, why aren't you asleep right now? Could you recommend me some sad poetry books? What's your GPA? And I made chicken nuggets, would you like some? Oh, and lastly, can I borrow your voice? Honest answer, why I'm awake. My friend invited me to play D&D with them. So I stayed up designing a character. And for anyone who's played D&D, and anyone who's interested, it is an albino tiefling, Eldritch Knight, and he's super shy, and he has red tattoos, and his background is a guild artisan. He is a silversmith. Super nerdy, I know, but it's been a lot of fun designing him. Honest answer, I don't know many good sad poetry books. In fact, I just don't know many sad poetry books in general. But I do know a really good sad line from a really good movie that I will say. It's from Blade Runner. And it goes something like this. I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched sea beams glitter in the dark near the Tannhauser Gate. All those moments will be lost in time, like tears in rain. That line is so good. My GPA was 3.8, I believe. I graduated with honors, Latin honors or whatever they're called. I don't know. For the record, no one has ever cared or asked what my GPA was. So, I don't know. I feel like kids shouldn't really stress about it too much unless you want to go to med school or you want to do a master's or you want to go to law school. And lastly, I would like chicken nuggets, please. Thank you. Oh, no. And your last question, can you steal my voice? No, you cannot steal my voice. You have a nice voice. Just keep yours. Shiza Simp asks, do people you're close to know about your audios? I get this question all the time, but I just want to reconfirm. Mostly they do not. Ezra had quite a few questions, so I just chose a few. What is your favorite audio of yourself? What would you tell your 15-year-old self? and cereal or milk first. I like the vampire audios the most. I think they were a lot of fun to write, a lot of fun to record. Yeah, just good fun. I would probably tell my 15-year-old self to move, to stop hanging out with the cool kids, and to just be yourself. All things that I wish that I had learned a lot sooner. And of course, cereal first. Does anybody actually put milk first? I've never seen somebody put milk first. And if I saw it, I would definitely consider it super alien and super weird. Esther asks, are you planning on doing some changes on this channel? Like the aesthetic, more multiple part stories, and bloopers. The channel is amazing. Thank you, Esther. I should probably work on more longer story arcs, and I'd like to do some. If you guys have suggestions, I'm definitely open. I kind of like the aesthetic right now, so I'm not going to change the aesthetic. Cute Cavoodles, I love the name, asks, would you ever date an Asian woman? Why would you even ask that? I mean that like in a nice way. But yeah, I definitely get this question about race and dating. And I think this is a good chance to just come back to it and let everyone know that I'm totally open to all races, all dating. I think you should just like date who you find interesting or who you're attracted to or who you love. But to answer your question specifically, I have dated an Asian girl before. And I think at this point I've dated people from like every race and many, many cultures. To be honest, I'm a pretty simple guy. Like cute girls of any background catch my eye, probably more so than they should. So I don't discriminate that way at all. Raven asks, do you have a constellation that's your favorite? P.S. Get some sleep. I knew you guys were going to tell me to go to sleep. I don't actually know like constellations that well. I only know the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper, the North Star, and Orion's Belt. And I always look for those when I'm outside. And I also like to use that app that you can get. It's like a Google app, and you point it at the sky and it shows you the constellations. It's really, really cool. If you haven't used it, you should try and find it. By the way, when you said constellations, I'm not sure if you meant actual like star constellations or horoscopes. If you're talking about horoscopes, I always think of Virgos as like really chill, logical types that I like to hang out with. Jaden Tan asks, what has been your favorite thing to do during quarantine? Good question. I'm curious what you guys have been doing as well, because I'm sure at this point, a lot of us are getting really bored staying inside so much. And I have personally gone through a number of phases during quarantine. Like at one point, I just exercised incessantly. I just exercised so much just to stay sane because I was so bored. And I am still doing that every day, like exercising at least an hour every single day. Then I went through a gaming phase and watching a lot of Netflix. I finished The Witcher 3. I started Final Fantasy X, and I finished watching Demon Slayer on Netflix. Those were all fun, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm still really bored staying inside and I want to go out. Nelly asks, how do you feel when you record? Right now, I feel too hot because it was cold, so I put on like 3 layers on bottoms and tops, and now I'm like sweating, but I don't want to stop recording to get into something cooler. So I'm just gonna sit here and be way too sweaty and gross. But yeah, how I feel usually depends on the type of audio. For the cozy, cuddly audios, I usually end up feeling kind of sleepy, especially if I'm sitting there in a hoodie with my eyes closed, focusing on cuddles and sleepy feelings. Like there's no way that you're not going to feel sleepy after that. Jessia W asks, what's your favorite color? Do you listen to Nickelback? Because I saw your comment on their How You Remind Me music video. And lastly, shy girls or loud girls? You caught me. I always wonder if subs for the channel will see my comments elsewhere on YouTube, because I do kind of leave them scattered around. Yeah, if you're my age and you're Canadian, you have probably listened to a fair bit of Nickelback, whether you like it or not. Their songs were always on the radio. Like, you couldn't turn on the radio without Nickelback being on. And I remember I think I was like 12 years old or something, and seeing that music video on Much Music. If anyone remembers Much Music, late at night, thinking how cool the video was. My taste in music has definitely evolved, but Nickelback will always be a classic. So I'm gonna go with Deadpool on this one and say they're pretty good. My favorite color is green, but I do like Midnight Purple on Cars and Midnight Blue on Cars. And I don't actually wear green. I wear too much black, as much as I hate to admit it. Finally, I don't know about this question, shy girls or loud girls. Honestly, I vibe with shy girls, but loud girls are usually really fun to be around. Aristellar, I hope I'm saying your name right, Aristellar, asks, what's your favorite song at the moment? I'm gonna go with Mega featuring JVLA, Drama, and this is the Vane remix. Kids don't listen to this song, but the song is quite good. Kanana says, name things that you like but other people don't. Okay, why did you ask me this question? Because I sat at my kitchen table for like a good 10 minutes trying to think of things. I don't know, maybe like pain. Okay, not pain. Just kidding. Pickle juice. I would say pickle juice. Honestly, like, I heard that it was really good after you play a game, like a soccer game or a rugby game. You should have some pickle juice because it's like Gatorade. So I tried drinking it and I really liked it. It's so weird. I remember like walking out of the kitchen with the jar. I had ate all the pickles, so I was just like drinking the pickle juice, just sipping on it. And my roommate and our friend is over, and they were like, dude, are you drinking pickle juice? And I was like, yeah, I forgot that other people don't do this, but it's really good. And they were like, okay. Anyways, I also like freezing cold showers. Like, you know, when a shower is so cold that you can't breathe and you feel like you're gonna die. After I get out of a cold shower, I just feel so happy. I have like a big smile on my face and I don't know why. I just feel goofy. So yeah, I couldn't really think of anything else that I like that other people don't like. Gia asks, when making audios that are more personal, such as depression or eating disorder audios, do you use your own experiences? Often, yeah, I do. Sadly, depression, anxiety, self-harm, eating disorders and stuff like that are pretty common these days. And I would be lying if I said that I haven't gone through most of those, if not all of them, at one point in my life. And I'm not alone. I think a lot of us can relate. So if you are going through that, please take heart. You will make it through this. And we love you. And you're beautiful. Everyone Likes Bananas asks, I made a Twitter for you. Why aren't you active on there? I'm so sorry. I made a Twitter account and I never use it. I've always wanted to get into Twitter, but I never really vibed with it. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I just can't really get down with Twitter. I should probably try using it more. Renelle asks, what are some obscure habits or superstitions that you've had since childhood? Interesting question. I always like to find out what other people's superstitions are or their weird habits. I always knock on wood. So if I think that I'm going to jinx something, I will usually knock on wood. But there's like not always wood nearby. So I just end up knocking on whatever. Also, kind of weird, but twice in my life when I was really drunk outside, I saw a skunk like in the middle of the road. And the next day after seeing the skunk, something really big happened in my life. So now when I see a skunk, I'm like, auspicious. Something is gonna happen. Kiara asks, what are things women do that are super attractive, but they don't know? I thought about this question for a long time too. I think when women laugh, like really laugh, like they don't care what other people are thinking, kind of laugh, you know, when your ribs hurt. That's really attractive. I think that ponytails are really attractive, and I don't know why. I always like smack them when I see them dangling there. If someone like touches my chest, puts their hand on my chest, that just feels good. The way they sit, when they pull their legs up on their chair, or when they sit in a way that guys can't, I find that really attractive. The curve of the back of the thigh is attractive. Reaching for things on tippy toes is attractive. I'm just gonna go on and on with these things. When they go off on a tangent about something that they're really passionate about to the point where it verges on embarrassing, that's really cute, and I can totally relate. So I find that really attractive too. Samaria asks, what are your thoughts on change, especially in regards to the pandemic, and how life may be different if things get better? I think life will be different after, and I hope that we've, learned. I don't know, I just hope that we've grown since this pandemic happened. That's a big question. Generally, I think that change is inevitable, and change stimulates us to grow as individuals. So yeah, I think change is a really good thing to embrace. That being said, sometimes we do take steps backwards. Like, being more connected globally was a really good change. A worldwide pandemic, not such a good change. The precautions that we'll take in the future and the ability to work from, remotely from home or whatever, probably a good change. Valuing our daily freedoms and connections with the people around us afterwards, that's something that's a really good change. Maybe we won't take them for granted so much. So I think the change is like something that we have to embrace. Juliana asks, how do you remain motivated to do audios and avoid burnouts? I'm definitely not the right one to be answering this because I'm not good at that. I basically just shut off from the whole social aspect of social media and other people when I'm feeling burnt out. I enjoy messaging, I enjoy commenting and having discussions with people, but when I'm feeling really burned out, I just totally tune out from everything. And it's a bad habit, but it's what I do. The more stressed I am, the more introverted I am. Nevertheless, I always enjoy making content, so I'll always make content. Also, that's not like all the time. I'm not whining and saying that I'm always burnt out. I just mean on the occasional times when it does happen. Sarah K asks, escape the fate or falling in reverse? Falling in reverse, definitely. The last few singles have been total fire. Popular Monster and Losing My Mind are awesome songs. My friend met Ronnie at a concert, and she had some really not nice things to say about him. So I know it's gossip. Take it however you want to, but his music is pretty good. You mentioned that you used to be a fitness trainer. Do you have any tips for someone struggling to stay motivated to lose weight? Again, I'm probably not the best person to ask this question of, because I'm really hard on my body. I'll do like 100 pull-ups just to see if I can do them, and then I'll skip 3 meals and just drink coffee just because. But I mean, I think that, if you really want to lose weight and you want to do it in a healthy way, and you're not, I guess, like a mentally healthy way as well, like you're not hating on your own body, because you really need to like love yourself and love your body if you want to have any long-term changes. And I don't want to sound like preachy here, so I'll just cut to the chase. I guess just finding food that is low fat and low caloric that you find really tasty. I love chicken. I love chicken and green apples and hot sauce, and none of those things are super high in calories or fat, so it's something that I can eat quite often, and I'm super happy and satiated. And I think finding those foods will really help. All right, I couldn't remember who asked this question. Actually, I think a lot of people ask this question: if I support the LGBTQ community. Of course. Yeah, I don't pay much attention to sexuality, but when I am confronted with the question, I'm more than happy to support the LGBTQ community, simply because I think that love and sex is simple. I think that people should love whoever they love, and I know that some people out there think differently. I never really understood that. Honestly, a lot of gay guys that I met were really into me, and I usually felt really comfortable around them too. I felt like we could talk about anything. I felt like I could be honest with them about anything. Whereas if somebody is really judgmental around sexuality, I don't feel so comfortable around that kind of person. So yeah, if you are a part of the LGBTQ community, I mean, I love you guys. It's fine. I feel weird saying that though, because it's just sexuality, right? You're just doing you. That's great. Dallas asks, have you ever caught a student cheating on a test? How did you handle it? Yeah, it was the same girl. I'm thinking about this one girl who did it like multiple times, and it was also the same girl that I took care of when she was being abused at home, if anyone remembers that story. I just quietly took her paper away from her, her paper with the answers. She knew that I was disappointed, and there was no need to do anything else. From the look on her face, I think that she was going to be harder on herself than anything that I could do or say. And no, I didn't feel like I didn't like her less as a student because she tried to cheat. People cheat for all kinds of reasons. I don't know what was going on. Maybe she just wanted to impress the teacher. Maybe, she was trying to avoid a bad situation at home. And I think a lot of us have considered cheating on tests before. So I would never be like mean to a student because of that. But I wouldn't let them cheat. I would definitely put a stop to it. Kelsey asks, can being needy ruin a relationship? Definitely. Definitely. There are some really independent-minded people out there, and they may totally hate neediness. They may not like any form of neediness at all. So I'm not like that. I'm okay with some neediness, but not everybody is. Kelsey also asks, can you make more jealous, possessive, overprotective boyfriend audios? Sure. Patty asks, what's been a silver lining to the pandemic? That's an interesting question. I mean, I know a lot of people in Western countries aren't cool with masks right now, so this is kind of a divisive issue. No offense to anyone, however you feel about this. I lived in Asia for a while, and I always wore a mask in Asia because in the country I was in, that's what you do. If you're sick, you wear a mask. If you're walking around outside, you wear a mask because the air quality is not so good. And especially if you're riding a motorcycle, which I did, you wear a mask because of exhaust. And sometimes people just wear masks because it's like habit. And I got in the habit of wearing a mask, and I always wore a black fabric mask, which I actually thought was kind of cool looking. So yeah, I think that being able to wear a mask every day is kind of a silver lining, because I don't know, you can hide your facial expression if you're totally hating on someone in your head or if like you didn't want to shave, or if you've got a pimple. And also, I haven't got a cold since the pandemic started. Just like wearing a mask and spraying rubbing alcohol, I think has really helped. So those are like two small silver linings, I would say. KH, I think it's KH Fairy, is playing Hades right now, which is a super cool game. I've watched a Let's Play of it, and asks, if you were alive in ancient Greece, which god or goddess would you leave offerings to, or other pantheons? I would definitely leave offerings to Apollo. His sister Artemis is also really cool. I've always been into Greek mythology ever since I was a little kid. Like, I remember getting a book on Greek mythology when I was a kid, and just sitting there on the living room floor, going through it, reading all about the gods and goddesses. So yeah, I would choose Apollo. And from the Norse pantheon, I would choose Odin. And I think that the English people, like ancient English people, used to call him Woden. So being an English speaker, yeah, I'd probably go with Woden. But Apollo would be my main pick. Bojana, I really hope I'm saying your name right, Bojana, because I see you all the time on here. Asks, any advice what to do with bits and bobs from previous relationships? This is a really interesting question. I think it depends on the circumstance. Like, if you have some leftover clothing from a friend with benefits type relationship, I would keep all that clothing in a bag, because they will probably want it back at some point. I've definitely had people that like 3 or 4 months later, they were like, hey, can you send me my stuff? Or hey, can I come pick up my stuff? And I'm like, girl, we haven't talked for like 4 months. Like, what are you doing? I'm sorry, I got rid of your stuff. But since that's happened, now I just like, if someone leaves something at my house, I will hold on to it for them, because I don't want to, I don't know, just avoid an awkward situation. If it's something left over from someone that you really loved and you probably still care about, I'd probably keep like the one small thing. I would not tell anyone. Just like one little keepsake to remember that really like loving part of your life. If it was from a total dumpster fire of a relationship, yeah, I would say feel free to burn it. Yeah. All right, guys, I would actually love to keep going on, but that's like 40 minutes and like 8 pages of questions. So, and also I think my voice is going to die soon. So thank you so much for all of your questions. And I'm sorry I couldn't get to everyone. I'll make sure that we do another Q&A sooner. Like, I won't leave it so long. I know that they tend to get less views, but the people who listen to them really enjoy listening to them. So I'll make sure we get another one out fairly soon. And stay warm. Take care of yourselves. Good night.